Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Football Talk with myself and Alex. Again, unfortunately, John can't make these. I don't know if I explained this ever, but we do these like at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. So John's sitting at work while we're getting this stuff recorded. So unfortunately, he can't be here to talk this stuff with us, but it's still something we're trying to do, keep you all up to date for those of you that don't watch all the football in the world like we do. But going to get through the scores. We've got a decent bit of player news to hit this week. And there's some injuries we're going to hit on, but I don't want to hit on all of them because there's a lot of guys that, one, I don't know who they are, and two, just weren't like major injuries, but there are a few guys I want to hit on. But hopping right into scores for the week, we had our Thursday night matchup, which was probably one of the best ones we've had this year between the Seahawks and the Rams. Seahawks coming out with a nail-biter in this one, winning it 30-29. It came down to the last few seconds. Actually, it was like almost the last play of the game. Greg Zuerlein was lined up for, I believe it was like a 40-some-yard field goal, and he whiffed on it.
Yep.
So Seattle kind of getting lucky there, but again, divisional matchup there in the NFC West, North? No, that's the NFC West. That's the West. North is the Packers. NFC West there, and we all expected this to be a tight game. Even last year when the Rams were, like, rolling even better, like, it was still a tough game for them. The Seahawks now are a powerhouse.
Pretty sure last year the Seahawks did beat them in one of their two matchups.
Did they?
Almost certain.
Where were they at in that matchup? I don't know where they were this time.
I think they beat the Rams at the Coliseum.
Really?
Yeah, because the Rams beat them in Seattle, and then they went down later in the season, and Seattle beat them in the Coliseum. Again, by, I think, like, either a field goal or 1 point.
Yeah.
Like, it was super close again.
Yeah. It was a really good game there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that. I got called in to work that night. Missed out on a good one, but overall, if you're a fantasy dude, good game for Chris Carson. Finally didn't fumble it. I've got him on my team, and he's kind of ticking me off with the fumbles, but really both teams were pretty well-rounded in this one. There were some good defensive stands on both sides, a lot of good offensive drives on both sides. I thought it was a well-played game by both teams.
It was, but it just goes to show also that this Rams team isn't the Rams team from last season either.
Sort of. It's hard to say what the Rams are like because the players and the pieces are all there, except Ndamukong Suh, who isn't. But honestly, they could stand to lose him. Like, not saying he wasn't a key part of that team, but he's also one of those guys that's like, okay, we could make up for one guy there.
Yeah.
He wasn't Aaron Donald. But things just aren't clicking is the problem. Like, the team's there. The same guys are there. They just can't make it work for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense that everybody, like, you look at on paper, that defense should be stupid scary. I mean, you've got Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters as your corners. You've got two really good safeties. You've got Aaron Donald and a couple other dudes on your line that are phenomenal. And for some reason, that defense is just really struggling to make anything happen.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'd throw Peters in there on a good cornerback note.
Having a safety that can cover his butt makes him better.
Yes,
because then he can play the style he likes to play. His problem with the Chiefs is he didn't have a safety that could do that, so his play style was awful.
Yeah, because our safety was hurt, and he beat cancer.
Yeah.
But
anyways, getting away from the Thursday game, getting into our Sunday games. Obviously, again, a lot of games on Sunday, as we always have. One matchup we had was between the Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have been rolling with Minshew. Unfortunately, while he looked good, Jacksonville did not pull off the win this time. Carolina winning this 34-27. Minshew still looked pretty solid, but just couldn't come back in the end to win it.
No, they hit that Christian McCaffrey speed bump.
Yeah,
he went off.
Dude, don't remind me. I have Jacksonville's defense, and McCaffrey just gashed right through him for an 84-yard touchdown. I know.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville, either way, went from being Saxonville last week with 9 sacks in the game to, I think, like 3 this game. Either way, it was a tough matchup. I knew the Panthers weren't going to be an easy one. They've had games where they've looked good, had games where they looked bad. I think it wasn't going to be easy either way. That defense is still solid. Jacksonville is still a solid team. I think they're doing just fine with Minshew, though. Until Nick Foles gets back, he's doing exactly what you want out of a backup.
Yeah.
But we had another matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another divisional matchup there for the Ravens in the AFC North. This time the Ravens coming out on top 26-23. However, I wouldn't exactly say that was a good game for them. If you paid attention at any point in it, Lamar Jackson went back to looking like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and they did get lucky with a Peter punch-out on Juju Smith-Schuster to set up Justin Tucker for the winning field goal, too.
Really? I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. The only reason they won is in OT. The Steelers were on a drive to get a touchdown, and Juju Smith-Schuster caught it, ran about 15 yards. All of a sudden, cornerback comes in, and Peter punches it, and
good
Ravens
old peanut
recover.
punch. You thank Charles Tillman for that because he kind of is what brought that into the league. Yeah, give me just a sec. I want to look up Lamar Jackson's stats from that game because, I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, I understand seeing the hype behind him the first 2 weeks. You're like, okay, finally Lamar Jackson's looking like what we hoped he would look like. The problem is you played the Cardinals and the Dolphins. Not exactly anything great to go on for you there.
No, but he did play the Chiefs, and he didn't look that bad against the Chiefs.
Look what defense we're talking about there again.
Just saying.
The first 2 weeks of this season, trying to find it.
He had a perfect passer rating on the
Okay,
first
here
game.
we go. First 2 weeks, he threw 7 touchdowns, no picks. The first 3 weeks, if you throw the Chiefs in, there's still 7 touchdowns, no picks because he didn't throw a touchdown in that game. The last 2 weeks, he's thrown 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. He is now, like the last 2 weeks, he's thrown more picks than he has touchdowns. This week, he went 1 touchdown, 3 picks against the Steelers. He went to looking back to like Lamar Jackson.
And the Steelers' defense isn't what it used to be either.
Nope. He struggled, which when everybody was like, oh, Lamar Jackson's going to look great, he's taking leaps and bounds this year, I was like, I don't believe him. Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. I don't care what he says. Like, oh, well, yeah, it's pretty good for a running back on whatever he's talking about, but that's what he is essentially. He runs the ball. He can say he doesn't want to run as much as he wants to. That's still his first go-to thing is running the ball. Watch his game, and you can tell he runs the ball.
Yeah, but it's hard to coach out something that's been taught to him. He's been an RPO quarterback since high school.
I get that, but that's why I'm saying, like, everybody like, oh, he's finally going to be this pocket passer. He's making leaps and bounds as a passer. No, he made those leaps and bounds because he played defenses. When he played against 2 defenses in his own division that could match up with him, he looked bad.
Yeah.
He didn't look good, and I'm like, that's what I expected.
That, and also another thing that's coming into play is tape, too. Because now teams are having tape on everybody.
That was my thing last year. Everybody was like, oh, Lamar Jackson's on this tear. It's because they hadn't played him yet. You saw the Chargers played him a second time in the playoffs and kicked his butt. Because they had tape on him. They played him. So, I don't know. It's one of those things I just want to talk about because everybody was hyping him up, and I just wanted to bring people back to earth with the Lamar Jackson talk because they pulled out the win. It wasn't because of your quarterback play.
Oh, no, not whatsoever. Although he does have a ton of weapons to throw the ball to, though.
I know. That's the problem. Another matchup we had was between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans. Surprisingly, Josh Allen back for this game after going out last week with a concussion. Bills pull off the win, 14-7. It's a real good thing that this Bills defense is as good as it is because that Bills offense is not doing great.
No, but I'll tell you this. I am willing to bet on 10-8-2019 that by the end of this season, I think that the AFC North is going to have a tie between the Bills and the Patriots. For the
So who do you think the Patriots are going to lose to?
I think the Patriots are going to lose to the Bills. I think they're going to pull it together for that one game to give them one
but that
loss.
means they have to not lose until then because they're already a game behind.
Okay, but who else are they going to compete with in that division? The Jets or the Dolphins?
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying either of the other teams can compete, but I'm saying can the Bills keep pace at this point?
I think they can.
Really?
I think they can. I think the Bills can do it.
We'll have to see what comes out of it. The Bills, again, it's a good thing that defense is as good as it is because, man, that offense is putting up like maybe 16 points a game. Like,
well, I mean,
buddy, they are struggling.
I'm wondering though if it's not clicking yet, or if it's more of a are they just bad right now?
I think it's a little of both.
I can see it being both, but I think they'll pull it together.
Hopefully, a matchup that everybody saw going the way that it went between the Patriots and the Redskins. Surprisingly, halftime was way closer than anyone expected. At halftime, that game was 12-7 or something like that. Either way,
didn't they end like 33-3?
I'm talking halftime here real quick. Halftime was closer than people expected.
Oh.
It was like a 1.5, like technically a 2-possession game, but like a touchdown and a field goal would have put them in the lead for the Redskins, and then the second half happened, and the Patriots won 33-7 because, well, that defense could only do so much.
Yeah.
When in the first half, one play got you 65 yards, and your other 25 plays amassed to that same total of 65 yards. That's not good. So we'll have some news on that game, what happened after it later. There's some stuff going on with the Skins.
Yeah, and it's not the tank game that they're getting ready to play either.
Nope. Our first London game of the year, for any of you if you like those London games. This one wasn't stupid early, though. This game didn't start at 8 a.m. like they have a couple times. This one actually started at noon here, like it should.
What is that over there? It's an 18-hour difference.
It's not an 18-hour difference. It's like 7 or 8, maybe.
I thought it was 18.
No, 18-hour difference would be like Japan.
Oh, that might be what I'm thinking.
That's
of.
way further. England ain't that far, dude.
That's true. Dude,
I don't even think it's an 8-hour
all
difference.
jacked up right then.
Either way, Oakland Raiders pulling out a win over Khalil Mack and the Bears. 24-21 Oakland. The Raiders right now just keep chugging along. They are 3-2 right now, one game behind the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They just keep chugging, dude. Like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but they keep going.
Dude, it's that Raider mentality. It's like, we got crap, and we've been crapped on, but we're going to keep going.
But they've got some good young guys now. Josh Jacobs is looking good as a running back. Had his first 100-yard game, which I get like, oh boy, week 5 finally got a 100-yard game. But look at the game plan they've had. They haven't just used him as a workhorse. So to finally hit that 100-yard game means he had a solid game.
No, but he should have hit it against the Chiefs if our run defense is that bad.
Well, yeah, but it got to the point where they had to sling it because, well, y'all put up like 27 unanswered points, and they're like,
28
well,
in the second.
Crap. So then they had to start slinging the ball.
True.
Their game plan had to change a little. And then, I mean, he's not their number one guy, but Hunter Renfrow is a good young player that they got from Clemson. Like, he's going to come into his own in the league once he gets used to everything, and I think he can be that number one guy in Oakland in like 2 years.
I don't see Derek Carr as the answer, though.
But
I know he's
shown
3 years
he can.
ago?
I think he can do it. I think the problem was the pieces they had before weren't clicking. Some of those guys didn't want to be there. And now they've got guys that are like, no, we're going to buy into this. We're going to stick around. We like this team, and that's making things work.
True.
We'll see what happens with Carr as the season goes. But again, they just keep chugging along. They're doing way better than last year, so go Raiders.
I'll never say that.
They're not in my division, I'll say that. Go Raiders. Good on you. We had a matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. Unfortunately, Sam Darnold's still out with mono, so this went about like you would expect, with the Eagles winning 31-6. That Eagles defense also had 10 sacks in this game, so there's that.
Yeah.
Also, there was a pick six, and I believe maybe a fumble six. I don't know if Orlando Scandrick took it to the house or not, but essentially ran back for what would have been a sack and instead decided, I'm just going to grab the ball. Like, watch the play for any of you that are listening, and he literally runs up to the quarterback and just grabs it straight from him and is like, nope, that's mine now.
Jeez.
That's how bad that game went for the Jets. Sorry, Jets fans.
Dude, I wonder what Le'Veon Bell's thinking right now, too.
I think he's sitting there going, I got paid what I wanted, so I'm kind of happy.
It's true.
We had a matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Giants. Honestly thought the Giants might win this one because Daniel Jones was looking good. Instead, Kirk Cousins remembered how to play football.
It's because Adam Thielen reminded him.
and Stephon Diggs was like, yo, I might want out.
Oh, yeah, that too.
After this week, I don't think he does. I think it was just a, dude, get your crap together or I'm going to walk thing.
Oh, definitely.
Minnesota, obviously, like we're talking, coming out on top 28-10. Though it does help that the Giants lost Wayne Gollum early in the game, so there went the run game.
Yeah.
Because, well, he was a solid backup to Saquon, and I don't know who their third-string guy is.
I don't even know who their third-string guy is.
That didn't help. But Daniel Jones still 2-1 as a starter, better than Eli's 0-2.
Very true.
So, honestly, can't say much about that game other than the fact that, Cousins remembered how to play football again. But again, look at the record of the team he was playing. Didn't have a winning record. They were a 500 record. And he's okay against teams under at 500 or below.
Who did he play last week?
Last week, who did he get his butt kicked again? No, he got his butt handed to him last week. That's why the guys were playing. Oh, the Bears.
The Bears, that's right.
Who I think are 3-2 right now.
They are.
They were 3-1 last week. Winning record.
That is true.
That's the difference for him.
And that's still a winning record at 3-2.
Yeah. Had probably the highest score this week between the Texans and the Falcons.
No defense at all.
Well, the Texans had some defense at whenever it mattered. I mean,
the score didn't really show it.
No, the first half, though, it was a back and forth between these two. And then the second half happened, and Houston said, bye.
Yeah.
Houston winning this one 53-32. If you had Will Fuller, I hope you started him, because I sure as crap didn't, and it's biting me in the butt right now. Dude put up 40-some-odd, almost 50 points, I think, in fantasy, and it is killing me. Between him and DJ Chark for the Jaguars, those two alone accounted for 66 points on my bench. Only a little bitter at that. I grabbed these two guys because I looked at them and said, they can do decent. I expected, okay, every now and then they might have a breakout game. But how do you bench Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton for Will Fuller and DJ Chark? Or in the case of my flex option, how do you bench Austin Eckler, who'd been killing it for either of these two guys?
Well, Austin Eckler had Melvin Gordon back now. So that's
but they talked like Gordon was going to be super limited.
He wasn't, though.
That's the problem. The way they talked was like, oh, he's going to be fairly limited. Means Eckler's still going to have a decent workload, and he didn't. So I made all the wrong moves. But yeah, overall, again, not a lot of defense. The Texans' defense stepped up when it mattered and got them a huge lead. That's what mattered in that game. Deshaun Watson balled out. And, yeah, I mean, the Falcons are struggling right now. I don't know what happened to that team.
What are they? Have they won yet?
Yeah. The only game they won was against the Eagles. Whenever I picked them to beat the Eagles.
So they're 1-4.
Yep.
Yeah, 1-4.
Yep. Matt Ryan, here's some advice. Throw the ball to Julio. I got nothing more on that. I'm pissed at Matt Ryan for not throwing it to Julio at this point. On other news, we had a matchup between the 0-4 Cardinals and the 0-4 Bengals. Bengals having another chance to not be the one on the losing side of a defeated team, and yet again did not come out the winner.
Nope,
The Cardinals ended up winning this one. They won 26-23, so Kyler Murray gets his first win as a quarterback in the NFL. And they're now, oh no, they weren't 0-4, they were 0-3-1.
Oh yeah, because they tied Detroit.
Yep, because technically after week 1, they were in that we're undefeated category, even though they didn't deserve to be in that talk. The Cardinals, they have moments where they look good, and then they have a lot of moments where they don't look good.
No.
There's a lot of work to do in that team. Cincinnati, there's a lot of work to do in that team.
I don't know what to do with Cincinnati. It makes no sense.
I think things might change when A.J. Green gets back, but we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah. What they really need is a different line.
They need to fix the line. They have a good running back. They need the line fixed.
Yes.
Other news, Teddy Bridgewater filling in for Drew Brees is 2-0 now after the Saints beat the Buccaneers 31-24.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns. Should have been 5. Should have been 5, but
the Saints hadn't won without Drew Brees since Drew Brees got to New Orleans, and now Bridgewater said, yo, watch this, and is 2-0 since taking over for him. The game he filled in for, they lost to the Rams. He didn't start that game, so that doesn't count against him. I don't think it should count against Brees either, but it will because he was the starter.
That is true.
So, good on you, Teddy. Drew Brees was throwing a football again, which is good news for you Saints fans, because, I mean, it's good that he can actually pick up a ball again.
And fantasy holders.
That too.
Yeah.
And, well, Jameis Winston went back to looking like Jameis Winston. He's had some games this year where I'm like, oh, maybe Bruce Arians can fix him. And then he's had games where I'm like, nope, he can't fix him.
I don't know how.
Because he's one of those guys that one game looks like the greatest guy on the field, and the next game takes like 5 steps backwards.
Yeah.
Because he's inconsistent.
That's a word for it, yeah.
We had the Broncos get their first win of the season over the Chargers. They won that game 20-13, which I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming, and I don't know how my defense scored 18 points.
Who'd you have for defense?
The Chargers.
Good question.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I'd have to actually look at like all the stats they gave you on that.
Tell me about it, because I'm so confused about it.
Who knows? Might have been short field position, so I didn't give up yardage. I mean, point-wise, if there was like a pick 6 or a fumble 6, that doesn't count against your defense because, well, they didn't give those points up.
That's true.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats it counted for you. But, yeah, Broncos fans, you got your first win of the season. Chiefs fans, that means you're now 3 games ahead of both the Chargers and the Broncos.
True, but we're only 1 ahead of somebody else.
Yeah, but at least you're now further ahead of the Chargers than you were last year.
That is true. That is very true.
While Oakland is close, I feel like the Chargers are still the better competition in that division.
I do too. Actually, I think the worst is the Broncos.
Oh, hands down, the Broncos are the worst. The Raiders look way better than them.
Yeah.
Another matchup that kind of irked me this week, the Cowboys and the Packers, and this game went about like I expected because for some reason my Cowboys suck against the Packers, and we lost this one 34-24. While it looks close, at one point we were down 34-3. So I'm pretty sure that Packers defense got to the point where, like, we can let up as long as we don't give up 30 points. We're okay.
Yeah, and I saw a meme the other day, made me think of you, and it's had the Cowboy star, and it was like, it's not a symbol, it's a rating.
Yeah, we still lead that division.
You have the Giants and the Redskins.
And the Eagles. Actually, no, I think the Eagles passed us up this week.
Either way.
Hey, the Eagles have been winning. I don't know how
did the Eagles pass you up? They've had 2 losses.
Yeah, I think that technically gave them the pass, though. I don't know why, but I think it did. The Eagles just keep trucking, even though they shouldn't be. They're missing so many pieces on that Eagles team. Kind of like when they won the Super Bowl, and they're just like, nah, man. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, and along with Aguilar not being able to catch anything.
See, the weird thing with Aguilar is his rookie year, he couldn't catch anything. And then the last couple of years, he was like, nah, man, I fixed that problem. And now he's back to not being able to catch anything.
I loved it when the dude saved those kids out of that burning building. And he was like, yeah, I was catching them out of the window. Unlike Aguilar, who couldn't catch a touchdown pass last week.
Yeah. But Cowboys didn't look good. I don't know if it was the play calling. I don't know what it was. I get Dak through 2 picks. The one I saw was not his fault. Straight up bounced off Amari Cooper's hands into the other dude. So that one's not on Dak. That's on Amari Cooper.
He made up for it, though.
Sort of. I mean, that kind of shifted the momentum, and then the game just took off from there.
True.
That could have been we could have kept it close if he hadn't dropped that, maybe, but we didn't. Our Sunday night matchup we had between the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry, Chiefs fans. I don't know how, but y'all didn't win this game. That was, 18-10 in final score of that game?
19-13.
Was it 19-13? Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, 19-13. I don't know why I said 18-10. For some reason, that number stuck out. I don't know why. I was going to look at the score,
It was going to be 19-10.
Yeah, y'all put up a field goal and then tried the onside kick.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Chiefs fans, y'all's defense is garbage. Duh. Everybody knew that.
God, yes.
It didn't help having Chris Jones hurt.
It didn't help having like 7 injuries on top of an ungodly amount of penalties.
Yeah. Y'all are beat up. Your starting quarterback's a little beat up. He keeps going, but it's kind of hard for him to do anything when he can't run because he keeps getting stepped on.
Truth.
But yeah, sorry,
he passes
Chiefs
better
fans.
outside the pocket than inside the pocket.
At times.
His stat literally is 2 misses when he's outside the pocket compared to inside the pocket.
Yeah, but again, that could just be a fluke here and there. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then we had a Monday night matchup between the Browns and the Niners. The Niners pulling out a huge win. What was the score in that one? Because the website I have up doesn't tell me the score for some reason.
For some reason, I want to say 33-3, but I don't feel like that's right.
I know the Browns put up 3 and the 49ers put up something around 33. It might have been more than that. It might
31.
be 31-3. Niners still undefeated.
I don't get it. The 49ers.
It's the Browns.
Trash last year. What is happening?
That's because last year Jimmy G went out. And then their backup went out, so they were down to a third-string guy.
Okay, I understand the Jets are pulling a 49ers this year, but still, who's getting the ball besides George Kittle?
Everybody.
But who? Can you name them?
I'd have to look at the stats. I don't know.
But
I don't pay attention to the
They're not a
Niners.
household name is what I'm trying to get at.
No, but,
so, what is going on?
They just keep winning. That's
Clearly.
So, yeah, after 5 weeks, currently the Patriots and the Niners, your only 2 undefeated teams left in the league. Patriots 5-0, Niners 4-0, and we'll see what happens next week with the scores.
I wonder who they play next.
We've been going for a while already, so I'm going to try and get into the news stuff with things. Actually, no, injuries next. Couple injuries to mention. Like we said, there was a lot for the Chiefs this week. Sammy Watkins was down with a hamstring, not expected to be out long. Chris Jones was out. I don't think his is expected to be long. And Andrew Wiley, your all's starting lineman, I don't know what position he plays, went out with an ankle injury. I haven't heard any updates on him with that, so I don't know what's going on there.
And I have no idea when Eric Fisher's coming back either.
Yeah, that's not a huge loss because Eric Fisher sucks. No offense, but Eric Fisher, you're a revolving door and you suck. You didn't deserve that contract extension.
It was restructured.
Because he sucked. The Cowboys lost yet another lineman with La'el Collins going down this time. I believe one of our other starting guys was out this week because I know last week we lost Tyron Smith like at the end of the game, but I don't know if he was out this week or not. I would imagine he probably was because he looked like he was hurting pretty bad last week.
Yeah.
The Chargers lost Mike Pouncey, Buffalo lost Mitch Morse, the former Chief. The Giants lost Wayne Gallum, like I said, to a concussion. The Ravens, this is probably the biggest injury of the week. Ravens safety Tony Jefferson tore his ACL, so he's done for the season.
Yep.
Because, there's no getting that fixed fast. And probably the biggest one that the NFL's Facebook page probably should have given us an update on is Pittsburgh Steelers backup quarterback Mason Rudolph getting literally knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
He was asleep on the field for a solid minute.
Yeah, and shame on you, Steelers. How's your cart break to where he has to walk off? Are you kidding
that
me?
Too. A lot of people thought it was worse than it really was. They took his face mask off, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's bad. No, they take the face mask off in case something is seriously wrong and they need to give you oxygen.
Yeah.
It's just a concussion. How bad, we'll find out. But I don't imagine he plays next week because when you get knocked out like that, that's not good.
No.
I don't want to say it was a dirty hit because it wasn't like it was super dirty. But, yeah, I mean, Earl Thomas essentially put his head into Rudolph's chin, and he went to sleep.
It didn't help that it was Earl Thomas that did it either.
But props to Mason Rudolph for making the play he did right before getting knocked out. Because heck of a play on that. And then you went to sleep and you went, whoa, what the F just happened? Where am I? What happened? Who are you? Juju Smith-Schuster looking real shaken up after that because, man, is he an emotional dude. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying like he's a diva emotional, but, man, he was looking rough because he did not take that well.
No, he looked a little skittish.
Yeah, but, at least he shows he cares for his team, unlike his former teammate who currently doesn't play. And surprisingly, no news on him.
Don't you dare bring him up right now.
I'm just saying, no news on AB this week. He literally didn't do anything at all this week. Not even anything to make fun of. Like, nothing this week. Perfectly quiet. So, good on you finally shutting up, dude.
His agent stole his phone.
One would hope. There's plenty of other injuries. You can take a look at those on the NFL's website. I'm not going to mention all of them because, again, there's too many to really go through all of them. There's one other somewhat big one for Jacksonville was losing their breakout tight end so far, James O'Shaughnessy. He went down with a knee injury. Don't know any more than that. They haven't reported anything else. But, yeah, overall, again, look at the injuries. There was 19 different teams that had at least one or more injuries this week.
Not expected this far into the season.
Yeah, not super unexpected. Check that out. One injury we did miss last week that for some reason, again, because most of the time I just get everything off of the NFL's Facebook page because they usually report on a lot of these big ones, was that last week and still this week, Devontae Adams was out with turf toe. I feel like that's a week-to-week kind of thing, so who knows when he'll be back. Could be back next week. Could be back in like a month. Who knows?
Yeah, treat it like AJ Green.
Or Julio, who just sucks it up and is like, nope, I'm good.
That's true.
I don't know how many times I've seen Julio be like, yeah, I'm questionable with turf toe, and then come game day, he's like, nope, let's go.
It could be a mind trick on Julio.
He's somehow the last few weeks he hasn't been on the injury report for fantasy stuff, but usually he's on that injury report with something, and it's not even that him doing it. Like, coaches are like, yeah, he's got this issue going on, but he plays through it because he's like, nope, I ain't letting it hold me back. Let's go. Some news in the NFL. One, I guess, milestone that was hit this week because not many other ones were hit was that Frank Gore, yes, Frank Gore again hitting a milestone, became only the second running back in the history of the league to start 200 games at his position. The only other one to do that, the GOAT himself, Emmitt Smith. But if Frank Gore finishes out this season and starts next season even for like a handful of games, he'll pass up Emmitt because Emmitt's sitting at 219 for his full career because obviously he ain't adding on to that. He's been retired for a while.
Yeah. He's on that rocking chair just chilling. If
Frank Gore can somehow finish out this season, which I don't see him not because, I mean, he just keeps trucking because he's Frank Gore. And if he gets on with the team next year and starts, let's see, it's week 5, so we still got 11 more weeks. That means he need to play half a season.
Yeah, he didn't even need all those.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens if he breaks it or not. Honestly, I think Frank Gore should end up in the Hall someday. I don't think he's a first ballot. He's never had those seasons where it's like, oh, this dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he's been consistent. Like, he's put in the work to be like, yeah, I'm in the Hall. Year 2, year 3, I don't know when, but this man deserves to be in the Hall at some point.
Yeah.
He was never the flashiest player. He never led the league in rushing. He never did this or that. But he's been consistent. He's put in the work. He's passed up. He's 4th in rushing yards all time behind only Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, and was it Jim Brown?
Payton?
Walter Payton. 3 of the greatest ever are the only 3 he's behind. Like
I thought he was behind Jim Brown, too.
No,
I thought he was tied with Jim Brown.
Nope, he broke because only those 3 were the only 3 previously that broke 15,000 rushing yards.
Okay.
And Frank Gore did it last week. So I don't care what you say, like, oh, well, they got to those numbers way faster. I don't care. Frank Gore's up there now.
Yeah, he still did it.
He still has the numbers. Yeah. So the man deserves to be in the Hall. In other news for you Redskins fans, y'all finally can Jay Gruden.
Congratulations.
It's about time. I don't know how many times I've seen this dude be like, yeah, I don't like this quarterback.
Dude, I don't know. I heard some stuff on some other news sites that a lot of their stuff has been above Jay Gruden that has not been going well as well.
Well, yes. I mean, their owner is kind of incompetent from what I've understood.
That's
but
what I was leading toward.
The fact that he didn't like RG3, so he essentially ran him out the door. And from what I've heard, he never wanted Haskins in the first place, so he's essentially trying to run him out the door. And as a coach, you can't just do that. Whether you want the guy or not, you have to play with who you have and not be an a-hole.
That is true.
Like, I can't say I'm a huge fan of his brothers, but he's better than Jay. At least he doesn't run people out the door.
Not necessarily. I think John has also run people out the door as well.
Has he?
Yeah.
I haven't paid enough attention to his career because most of his was done and over with before I started paying too much attention before, he came back.
Yeah, true.
So, I don't know. But yeah, congratulations, Redskins. You finally got rid of that crappy coach.
So, I think they have Bill Callahan as the interim right now.
No idea. I haven't heard who
Billy
got
Callahan right now is interim.
I hadn't heard who was put in as interim for him.
But who are they going to get is my question.
Maybe a college dude. I don't know. Don't go for Nick Saban because we saw how that worked out in the NFL.
I think he's ready for another try at it.
I don't think he wants to.
I don't think he wants to
more
either.
at Alabama than he could in the league.
Like he's nicely settled in Alabama right now.
Yeah,
but
he can just keep building his college legacy and be like, screw the NFL.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if they try to bring in old Ohio State's old coach,
Urban Meyer
or Billy Donovan back into there.
Urban Meyer retired basically because of health reasons. Like, he had to.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't do it anymore, so I don't think they can grab him.
But I'm wondering, like, if the enticement of the NFL would bring him back into it. If
I doubt it because I don't think he wanted to leave Ohio State. I think Urban Meyer wanted to stay, and he's like, I just can't anymore. Like, I have to stop.
Yeah, true.
And that's essentially what Bruce Arians retired for, was health, but for some reason decided to come out. He said he'd only come out for the Browns and then was like, nope, coming out for the Bucks. Don't know why he made that choice, but whatever.
It's I don't know. That enticement.
We'll see who they grab. There might be a coordinator out there. Some people have talked like they might go after Jason Garrett, but one, that's stupid because Garrett won't leave the Cowboys for a rival. He's basically been bred as a Cowboy.
Yeah, and his bread's pretty much well buttered where he's at.
Yeah. I mean, one, Jerry won't let him go unless he decides, okay, we need a new coach. And two, Garrett wouldn't go to a rival. He was basically brought up as a Cowboy. Like, he was their backup for a while. I think he started for a little bit. He then came up through the ranks as a coordinator to head coach. He was around the team as a kid. Like, he's a cowboy. Like, he wouldn't do that. As much as he would be like, I can get paid, I can keep coaching, I don't see him doing it.
I wonder if they go after Lincoln Riley. That'd be interesting.
Who's that?
He's the coach at OU. He coached Baker Mayfield.
See, I feel like the Browns should have gone after him.
I do too, but I think Baker Mayfield attached himself onto the Browns head coach after he was
Freddie Kitchens?
Is that who it is now?
Yeah.
Yeah. While he was the interim coach, I
guess.
like...
I don't know. I thought it would have made more sense if they grabbed... I guess... Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. If Kitchens does well, then they made the right move. I don't know. I feel like sometimes grabbing their old coach, though, if they would make that move, would just be smart. Because, like, okay, I've worked with this guy. I know what scheme works for him.
Yeah. But see, that's the only reason why I say go after Urban Meyer for Haskins. Because he's coached before. He knows what plays are going to work with Haskins and what isn't.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or at least who's their offensive coordinator? That'd be another interesting.
I think that's their current head coach in Ohio State is their old offensive coordinator, but I don't actually know.
Be interesting if they go after him.
I don't know. We'll see what they do. There might be some coordinators in the league that they look at. It's hard to say. But just as a quick little thing for some stuff, after 5 weeks in the league, your division leaders are as follows. In the NFC North, you've got the Ravens sitting at 3-2. It was the Browns, but since they lost, well, that put them back below the Ravens. You've got the Texans sitting in top of the AFC South at 3-2. I believe they're tied with the Colts now at 3-2, but I don't know why. I don't know why they're ahead technically. I don't know, because I don't think they've played each other yet, unless they did, and I missed something there. The Patriots, obviously on top of their division of the AFC East at 5-0. The Chiefs sitting atop the AFC West 4-1. In the NFC, on the north side, we've got the Packers sitting at top at 4-1, looking better than they have in a while. Maybe not offensively, but defensively, yes. In the NFC South, we've got the Saints sitting at 4-1. That only loss coming when Drew Brees went out with his thumb injury. So I'd say that's a pretty solid start to the season for them. The NFC East is currently the Eagles sitting up top at 3-2 since the Cowboys lost this week and the Eagles didn't. And in the NFC West, you've got the Niners sitting at top at 4-0.
And I think the reason that the Houston Texans are ahead of the Indianapolis Colts is because the Colts are 2-2 in conference play, and the Texans are 2-0 in conference play. Just in conference.
There's no way that Colts are 2-2. That means that every week before this they would have. No, they can't be 2-2 because they didn't. They would have had to have played every game in their conference up to this week. In week 1, they played the Chargers.
That's AFC.
Yeah, it's not conference play.
I'm not talking about
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Divisional play, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So in conference play, they're 2-2, and the Texans are 2-0.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But there's your division leaders. A quick little thing. Raiders fans, you all ended up trading a 5th-round pick for Bills receiver Zay Jones, who, I mean, he's made splashes with the Bills. We'll see if he can help out Derek Carr. I don't know. That's the only trade that's happened recently, so the NFL's like, yo, here's this update.
Yeah, and the Raiders only throw to, Tyrell Williams anyway?
Yeah, they used Hunter Renfrow a couple times this past week.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
He had a couple crucial catches down the stretch there to get that last touchdown.
Okay. I didn't watch the London game.
Well, I could only pick up either the Patriots, Redskins, or the London game, so I was like, London. Yeah. But no, other news, they've said there's a couple guys on the Broncos side that are on the trade block. We'll see how true that is because they said Jalen Ramsey was on the trade block, and clearly that wasn't true.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice, but then again, I'm also sitting here thinking that they'll never trade who I want them to trade to the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, no. We'll see what happens with the Broncos. A couple of the guys they've put on that list I could see going. The biggest name on that list is obviously superstar Mr. Denver right now himself, Von Miller.
See, I just knew him. I didn't know the other two.
I've seen the other guys' names before. They're not like super big yet, but they're solid players. But yeah, I don't see them. I don't think they should trade Von Miller. That'd be stupid.
I want them to.
I know you want them
So
to.
I think they should.
from a non-biased perspective, they'd be dumb to trade Von Miller.
Okay, yes, from my non-biased perspective, it would be dumb to trade Von Miller because even if you're in a rebuilding phase, you're going to need some veteran.
You need someone to lead them, and that's Von Miller.
Because it ain't Joe Flacco, that's for sure.
Flacco might not even be playing after this year. No. We'll see.
And Lindsey's too young. He was a rookie last year.
Yeah. I mean,
Sutton's not a leader. He's also young.
No. But, I mean, they could step up on the offensive side, but everyone on that list was on the defensive side of.
Yeah, none of the offense was listed. But even then, they clearly outlined that their defense is the highlight.
They had, I think, one guy on the offense, which was...
Was it Camille Sutton or Emmanuel Sanders?
It was Sanders.
Sanders wouldn't be that bad of a
That's because he's getting older, though. That's why they're like, okay, well, if we can ship him out and get some compensation for him, why not?
Yeah, but I don't know who'd want to pick up. Maybe the Raiders. Raiders probably do good with Emmanuel Sanders. That's a
lot of teams could do good with Emmanuel Sanders. Depends what scheme you throw him in. Like anybody, it depends what you do with him.
He fits that Peyton Manning style, so who would have that?
Chiefs.
We have too many.
Texans.
Now, the Texans would be interesting.
But Demaryius Thomas went there and didn't do anything.
Tennessee would also be interesting.
Tennessee. There's a couple teams I think he could go to. He's not going to the Browns because they don't have room to fit him into that system.
The only way Chiefs are getting players if they're on defense, because our offense is fine.
Yeah, when they're healthy.
Yeah, when we're healthy.
Well, there you go. That's pretty much all we got for this week. Like I said, we've got 2 undefeated teams left in the league, which I feel like usually we have more than that at this point, but we don't. So that's where we're currently standing on that.
Very true, but also teams have gotten better this year too.
Yeah, there's been some weird games just going on as well. I don't know. There's been some weird weeks.
Yeah, last week was
last week, the week before, we've had a couple of them already. Most weeks, honestly, have been kind of weird.
Week 1 was definitely weird when you have a tie and was it a fumble 6?
No, it was 2 safety.
Or 2 safeties.
We had another safety this week.
Thinking. What game?
I don't remember, but I know there was a safety this week.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah.
You ready to end this one?
Yeah, I think we've been going longer than most, but, we were told we needed more peps, so it kind of makes things go longer.
Which is also why we told you why we do this at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but I think that's all we got for this week. This is JC Radio signing out.
Peace.